been here for some 45 years. Before I get to my point regarding the 12-hour shifts, I wanted to, Mr. Radwin here, he throws out figures, he gets figures. There's a few people in this room, I don't know if Chief Ferguson is still here, and Chief Dijon, I see Chief Hepkins here. In the 90s, the Chiefs Association sued the Sheriff's Office. Good department, nothing bad to say about the Sheriff's Office. Angola, Akron, Alton, Springville, Blaisdell had contracts with them all. Sheriff Higgins at the time was a sheriff. He'd throw a car in here with a deputy, and that's all he would charge. And I believe Chief Hepkins would back me on this. Anytime a call came out in District 5 and District 6, the village was left alone. We ended up taking over the village calls. Anybody can see our salary on See-Through New York. It's all there. I submitted it when I was the chief. They asked for the contract, I submitted everything. What he doesn't understand is the base salary of the deputies may be lower than ours, but I dare him to challenge that every deputy on See-Through New York makes in excess of $100,000. Okay, so they come in here, you're gonna pay for a deputy, you're gonna pay for a sergeant, you're gonna pay for a lieutenant, you're gonna pay for narcotics detectives, you're gonna pay for a captain, you're gonna pay for K-9 dogs, you're now gonna pay for the helicopter. It doesn't come in here and they give you all inclusive. And then again, how many men are you gonna have? What's the patrol you're gonna have? I don't think the Sheriff's Office can come into a municipality and answer 34,000 calls a year. So we've been down this road many times. I have a 40-year history here, and every time there's a contract that comes up, some citizen brings up the Sheriff's Office. And I will tell you that I met with a high-ranking official when I was still a chief working for the Bill Stadium and asked him one simple question. Are you going to take any of the 23 Evans police officers into the Sheriff's Office? Anybody want to know what the answer is? No. No. So comes the sheriff, so goes the sheriff, these officers. Just doing math with 50 part-time and full-time employees just in the police department. Let's say they pay $10,000 a year in taxes. They shop here, they go to school here, they live here. They're a big part of the tax base. And the reason I came here tonight is I'm here tonight to talk about the recent change the town made to the police officers' work schedule. I'd like to give the town board and Evans residents a background on how the 12-hour schedule evolved. In 2007 and 2008, I was the union president representing the members of the Evans Police Benevolent Association. One of the proposals was the officers wanted to be allowed to try the 12-hour shifts. It was going around the different departments, it seemed to be working, they wanted to try it. Full disclosure, not everybody was in agreement with it within our organization. Also on the table was the proposal from the town to change health insurance from the traditional Blue Cross Blue Shield to a PPO policy. One of the main issues was the 12-hour shift, and one of the main issues back in 2007, like again every year, was the health insurance. 2008 was a year of many changes. In August of that year, I was promoted to chief of police. I remember during my interview, of one of many questions, was how is the town to get the police overtime under control? In 2008, overtime was running about $200,000 a year. Not a bad thing, and I would say that my predecessors, Chief Dijon and Chief Ferguson, like me, had no control over it. There was a lot of personnel issues that you have no control over. I explained to them that the overtime is needed. I did tell them that I had some ideas to cut the unnecessary overtime. In 2008 and 2009, I reduced the unnecessary overtime by nearly 75%. Part of this was accomplished by the implementation of the 12-hour shifts. All on record, go back to the 2007 budget, you'll see what was spent. Go move forward to the 2009 budget and forward all the way to 2016, you'll see what was going on with the overtime. You need overtime, it's a necessary evil in any department. The PBA and the town agreed on a new collective bargaining agreement. The officers were given the 12-hour shifts in exchange for some givebacks. One of those givebacks was the very expensive traditional Blue Cross Blue Shield, which we no longer have. During the remaining 2008, we instituted a 12-hour work schedule. After several months, I noticed the sick time call-offs were going down, which reduced the overtime. Why? Officers were now getting off every other weekend to spend time with their families. You see, with the 5 days on, 2 days off, also known as the 5-on, 2-off schedule, only the most senior officer gets weekends. During my tenure on the roll in the patrol division, I did not see weekends for 22 years. So I know what these officers are going through. Until I got into the detective bureau, I had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off. During my tenure as chief, we were able to increase officer training by changing their schedules. Because of the 12-hour schedule, officers were sent to schools without using any overtime monies. We were able to put special details out with little or no overtime. We were able to be very flexible with scheduling officers in their time off. I believe that during my tenure as chief, I granted all officers their vacation, work, and holidays with little or no overtime, and I do not think I ever denied an officer request for time off. This was not the case when we were working 5 on and 2 off. Officers were denied time off quite often. The 12-hour work schedule has been very successful for the department and cost-effective to the taxpayers. More than half of the officers have only known the 12-hour work schedule. Most officers' spouses also work. Times have changed. The 12-hour schedule gives the officers the ability to adjust their schedule to accommodate childcare and other needs, and this schedule is also, the officers know, it has been successful for the past 9 years. For those that are not in law enforcement, you need to know that this job is tough enough on the officers and their families. Officers are creatures of habit. They need structure, they need stability in order to do their job safely and effectively. In closing, I know that the 12 hours of work schedule is cost effective and an efficient way to maximize the service for the taxpayers. Thank you.